Why did God create good and evil if he knew that people would sin? Why did God create good and evil and make evil an option? This is a question that many people ask and many people struggle to answer, and I'm going to answer that question in this video. Before we begin, if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do so. Click that notification button to get notified when I release a new video, and let's begin. So why did God create good and evil if he knew that people would sin? Why did he create good and evil if he and even makes sin an option? And because a lot of people, they don't know how to explain this, and they don't know how to answer this question, and they don't know the answer to this question, they choose to live life as though God doesn't exist just because they don't have answers to certain questions. And so I'm going to answer your questions. So let's start here. Let's look into what the options were right from the beginning. So what were the options in the beginning? The option number one was if God didn't create a world at all, versus creating the world we live in now. So if God didn't create a world at all, there would be no life, there would be nothing. So that's option number one. The second option is if God created a world where there would be no such thing as good or evil. In other words, it would be an immoral world, it would be a disorderly world, it would be a world of no concern, because there's no understanding, there's no awareness of good or evil. So it would be a world where there's no concern, there would be no awareness. The third option would be is if God created a world where we could only choose good. So we would be pre-designed and we would be predestined to only choose good. In other words, it's a world that has no free will. It's a world that has no choice. It's a world of complete restraint. It's a world of complete restriction. And it's a world of complete control. So let's take a look at our three options that we have so far. Option number one is a world of nothing. So there would be no world, no life, versus the world we have today. So in that option, there's absolutely nothing. There's no life. The second option will be no such thing as good or evil. In other words, it's a world with no awareness. So you're doing things, there's no awareness because you don't know good or evil. The third option would be a world of control. So you're never able to make your own choices. So it's a world without free will. It's a world of complete control. And let's look into the fourth option now. The fourth option is the world we live in today. It's the world that God has already created today. It's a world where God has given life. It's a world where God has given awareness of good and bad. And it's a world where God has given you free will to choose good and bad. So in this world that God has created, we have possibility of good and evil. We are given the option of freedom, and we can make freedom to choose, and then we can make our own choices. So it would be either a world of nothing versus the world we live in today, which is we have life. It could be a world of no awareness versus the world we live in today. There is awareness of good and evil. It could be a world of no choice, or the world we live in today. We have free choice to choose between good and evil. And so out of all the four options that I have given you, option number 4 is the only option. It is the only way. It is the only world which love is possible. It's the only world where love is possible. In the previous 3 options, love is not possible. Love would not be possible between God and man. The whole purpose is love, a relationship between God and man. That's the whole purpose. Love would not be possible between God and man if there was no life. Love would not be possible between God and man if there was no awareness, because you won't be aware of God, you won't be aware of love, it won't be possible. Love would not be possible between God and man if there was no choice, if there was just control, because control is not of love. And so in the first option, love would not be possible, because if there was no world, how could there be love in a world if there is no world? In the second option, love would not be possible because without knowing good or evil, then how would you know love? How would you know God? For God is love. And in the third option, love would not be possible, because if you're only predestined, predesigned to choose good, then this implies control. This implies a lack of freedom. How could there be love in a world where there's control? I wanted this, I wanted that way, No, love is freedom. Love is freedom, so they can choose. This is the only way that you can have love between God and man. So the fourth option in the world we live in now is the only option that allows love between God and man, but you get to choose. It is the only option where we have life, we have awareness, and we have free will to choose. You get to choose. You get to choose the life you will live. You get to choose God. You get to choose to live a life with God. And once you choose God, then you will have a love relationship between God and man, because you have chosen. Because you have the awareness of good and bad, you have chosen good. Because you have awareness between good and bad, and you have free will to choose. You have chosen good, you have chosen God, you have chosen love. Now you have a love relationship between God and man. In a relationship with God can help you to make the right decisions in life, so you can choose a life, you can choose to live in harmony with God. But without having that relationship with God, you will always live in disharmony. You will always choose sin. You will always choose evil. You will always experience evil. And you will say, well, why did God create evil? Because of love. You get to choose love. And so I hope this video was helpful. You get to choose love. People are the ones, based on their choices, because God gave you free will, that choose the wrong side, that choose evil, that choose sin. And so repent, turn away from your old ways, turn to God, and experience that love relationship between God and man. Because in the world we live in this option, only in this option, is love possible between God and man. I hope this video was helpful. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do so. Click that notification button to get notified when I release a new video. Make sure to join my live prayer line every Sunday. Information can be found down here. And until next time, God bless you, and the peace of Jesus be with you.